I wanted to talk about the Boba Fett controversy going on, and I'll fill you guys in on what's happening. But tomorrow, Tamiro, how the hell you say his name? Tamiro. I say it as though I don't like the guy. I do like the guy. Tamira Morrison, a.k.a. the clone himself. Jango Fett, and then, of course, would later become Boba Fett. Not the original Boba Fett actor, but in Star Wars, Clone Wars, the movie, he was the actor that played Jango Fett, and then they used his likeness to do the clones, and then recently got a chance to not only play Boba Fett, but got a chance to play a clone commander or clone soldier in the Kenobi show. He got slighted. He was doing an interview, I want to say, and let's go to Screen Crush. Why not? He was doing an interview, and Mandalorian season 3 came up. And here, over on Screen Crush, Boba Fett star Tamura Morrison still sounds a little befuddled and maybe even annoyed about the situation himself. And you may ask, what is the situation? What happened over there? Well, he said, well, that Mando guy stole a few chapters of my book. It was painful watching him turn up with some new black lethal sword. And the way he turned up in my book of Boba, he destroyed everybody. I'm sure this guy is ruining my show. But I couldn't say anything. I'm not a writer, so I have to bear it, I guess. So he's a little bitter about this whole thing down here. And actually, I'm misspeaking. It's not even this part here. This is later on. This is the final episode. 2 episodes prior to this, Mando shows up, and there's not even any Boba Fett in the show, which we all remember as the actual best episodes of the show. He shows up, and Boba's like, "What the hell, man? What are you doing here? Get out of town." So, allegedly, and I don't think they have the other quote here. He's told, you're going to be in the 3rd season of Mando. We're all watching the 3rd season kind of crawl its way through. We get to that second to last episode, which was amazing. And we're all like, where was this whole season? What's going on? And we're thinking, who are they going to call other than the Ghostbusters to save the Mandalorians? Because there was a ship that went off that when they went from Apollo Creed's planet to Mandalore, there was like a ship missing. So the assumption was that ship went out to get more reinforcements.
Formation and number of ships is consistent throughout the episode, but when they arrive at Mandalore, they have one less Gazanti and several less gauntlets.
So we're like, oh, who's gonna be the big reveal in the last episode? Who's gonna be the big, oh shit, they're here moment in the last episode? On the list was Boba Fett. We thought Boba Fett would show up. But old man was sitting there on his rocking chair at his house in full gear, all dressed up and nowhere to go. Boo! Boo! I generally feel bad for him. All jokes aside, I legit had the image in my head of like the kid on Halloween who's being told, hey, we're going to invite you to our party. And the kid dresses up. And little does the kid know, it's a setup. And he gets a costume, convinces his parents to get him a costume. He dresses up, get him in the car. He's like, this is where the address is. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure there's a party there? And he's in his Boba Fett suit. And he's like, yes, they told me. It's right here. And they drive out there. And they're like, you sure you want us to drop you off here? Yeah. I'm sure the party's going to start soon. And my man gets out of the car. He's in his Boba Fett suit. He's ready to go. Ready to shoot. They don't come. The girls never came. And sadly, I think In my head, that's what happened to Tamora. I feel bad. I do feel bad. Flip side of that coin, I think we can all agree, universally, Book of Boba Fett, terrible show. Terrible show, except for the 2 episodes with Mando. So if I'm Disney, I'm letting things cool off with Boba. I'm not including him in my stuff. However, he was badass in Mando, season 2. I don't know why they didn't do that in Book of Boba Fett, but he was badass there. You could bring him back and have him redeem himself. He'll be badass in season 3. But at the same time, I can understand where they're just like, you know what? No Boba Fett. We don't need any of that smoke. We're just going to move on without him. I think, imagine, because Kathleen and all of them are so crazy over there, I imagine that there's a script, there's a variant, there's an Elseworld story where they sit in their boardroom, they're looking at the numbers. They're like, all right, we got to make some budget cuts around here. We got to do some layoffs. Things are expensive out there. Inflation's still high. It's come down, but it's still high. What are we going to do? Well, Baby Yoda still sells, although nobody's telling them that he's not. However, to them, they think Baby Yoda still sells. So like, all right, we got to keep Baby Yoda. Obviously, it was a good decision to bring him back in from Book of Boba Fett. But homeboy, Pedro over there, I don't want to vote for Pedro anymore. Pedro's getting a little too expensive for our Disney budget. What if Boba shows up? They're doing all the fighting, all the crazy stuff. Pedro eats it. And now Baby Yoda goes off with Boba. Now we have Book of Boba Fett season 2. Baby Yoda is on Tatooine. The kids love Tatooine. They love sand. And now it's the Baby Yoda and Boba Fett show. I'm willing to bet that script, or at least not the script, but I bet you that thought ran through their brains at one point. Because he's definitely cheaper than Pedro Pascal in the year of our Lord 2023. That's for damn sure.